This is not your mother's story. This is you talking about random bullshit, sprinkling in a fire, and how you want to build your mom a home. Well, girl, yeah, we all have dreams. We all have dreams, okay?
You know that grifting is if you're lying to con people. I'm not lying about my mother's situation.
Audrey built her whole brand on FOIA expertise. Her identity online is, I'm the one who checks the facts. So when someone like that lies about something as easily verifiable as a house fire, it's not just a lie, it's a catastrophic contradiction of her entire persona.
They straight lied to everybody.
I'm not lying about my mother's situation.
Lying assholes.
Audrey, do you think in good faith, if you were asking for $200K, that maybe you should back it up with some kind of proof? Proof?
I have no reason to lie. 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 I have no reason to fucking lie.
Just coast. Just coast.
Just coast. Just coast. Just coast. Just coast. Just coast.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Jessie. On my channel, I cover true crime and I analyze behavior and language through a forensic lens. I also investigate content creators who mislead, manipulate, or exploit their audience because I believe people in online communities deserve honesty. And today, we're talking about Audacious Audrey, or as she's more recently known as Audrey the Gross, which is a name given to her by Sir Morbid X. He was only referring to her as Audrey the Gross because Becca Scoops had said in one of her most recently revealed emails that Audrey is gross. So Morbid said, Audrey the Gross, you know her, you love her, let's talk about her. So if you don't know who Audrey is, Audacious Audrey or Audrey the Gross, Audrey is a well-known content creator in the Gypsy Rose Blanchard community. She built her platform by covering the Gypsy Rose and Dee Blanchard case in extreme detail, and she's become recognized for her ability to obtain records, files, and documents related to the case faster than almost anybody else. Her audience sees her as a skilled records researcher, a thorough investigator, someone who digs into case files, arrest records, and public documents. And because of that, she's gained a reputation as a go-to source for fast information and behind-the-scenes details. I've always admired her for her ability to be so diligent and thorough with case files. I've seen videos of her actually showing the case files that she's received. She showed in one video phone book stack size of files that she had received for the Gypsy Rose and Dee Blanchard case.
I paid for my FOIA request today. So the courts for the probate, I've paid the sheriff's office for my FOIA. I submitted an additional FOIA. There was something else I paid. Oh, Bree's stuff. I paid for Bree's stuff. Thank you so much, babe. Okay, so look what I got, y'all. From the probate division in Greene County, everybody is theorizing that Gypsy's mom had a life insurance policy. And I can tell you, I read every page of this, and there is no life insurance policy listed in these documents. I will figure out a way to scan them all and get them on a Google Drive so that everybody can go through them. I am also going to go through the the National Commission Board thing for life insurance policies to double check that. I'm just waiting for a little bit of information so I can do that, because there's some information you got to have that's pretty,
So we know that she's not afraid to contact jails and speak to authority and obtain reports and records. She likes to post people's personal information online. She likes to get into the nitty-gritty. And I think she's somebody that you think of when you think of, man, I wish I knew this one specific detail. If anyone's going to know, it's going to be Audrey. But recently, she's posted a couple of videos online talking about her mother's home that allegedly burned down and that her mother's been living in a shed with her boyfriend in Florida. The GoFundMe that she is made in regards to this alleged tragedy, she's asking for $200,000 from everybody, from anybody. She claims that her mother's house burned down and that her mother is injured, that her mother's old and elderly, which I wouldn't consider 66 elderly, but that's what she says, that her mother's elderly, and that she wants to help build her mother a home with the $200,000. Well, I mean, wouldn't we all? But what started happening recently was Sir Morbid X started discussing Audrey and talking about how she's a fake and a fraud and that she lies sometimes. Now, I never thought of Audrey that way, and I never thought to question Audrey. Now, there's a lot of content creators out here who I will question, so I know content creators and who they are and what they do and what their purpose is. Audrey posts multiple times a day, sometimes on TikTok and then YouTube, and she's not anybody that I ever would have thought would be lying. What's there to lie about when I know that she owns all of the FOIA files? She literally audited Dee Blanchard's life through the probate division in Greene County, Missouri, in order to get, all of her tax information, and we're going to get into all of that. So Sir Morbid X did a live stream on his YouTube channel, and it was really long, and I was in there from the beginning to the end because he's claiming that this whole GoFundMe that she's put out is a scam. It's a fraud. And so I wanted to deep dive into that myself. And so I did. I spent about 10 hours alone just looking through every single news report and every single article that I could find about a house fire in Florida that's happened over the past month or two, because she doesn't say exactly when this fire happened in her GoFundMe, which is one of the red flags. She also posts no pictures. She has no footage. She has no reference to an article about the house fire. She literally has zero details. And that's what's raising the most red flags. Because as we all know, Audrey is a person with all the inside information. That's what she does.
Audrey the Gross.
Hi, I have an official update. So they do not wear body cams in Lafourche. However, they do have unit cameras, and they do have audio recording on their persons. And the officer I spoke with today clarified something. She did make bail. It was $2,800, but the officer that told me she paid cash was wrong. It just hadn't updated in their system at that time. It was paid using a credit card. Do you know whose credit card? I don't either, but I have a very good guess because they couldn't tell me the name on the credit card. However, they could tell me the initials, and I'll tell you that the last name starts with an M. Sheena, I'm looking at you, babe. Was it you? Was it your burial fund that the money came out of? That's messed up. Anyways, I've put in a request, and I've asked for everything. The recordings, audio, and visual. Like I said, everything.
But this girl can't get one damn report about the fire of her own mother's house? Okay, whatever you say, Audrey.
Did Gypsy's TikTok manager, Big Back Bro, get in trouble? Bree, is this you on the Mugshots Busted page? Is this your birthday with a booked day of December 26th, the day after Christmas? And I'm sure your attorneys told you the consequences of such a thing.
You see where I'm going with this, right? She's perfectly capable of getting all kinds of information in any way, shape, or form that she possibly can. Any information, no matter what she has to do, who she has to talk to, what she has to pay. She's very, very capable, and she likes to get all of the details. So the fact that she's trying to ask the public for $200,000 to help build her mother a home because her house burned down and she doesn't have any proof or any details is very concerning and raises huge red flags. If it was anybody else, I wouldn't even think twice about their $200,000 GoFundMe. I could care less. Okay, they're asking for help. Big deal. But it's Audrey. And the fact that she has no details whatsoever regarding this fire, but she wants to ask everybody for $200,000, I'm very concerned and I have questions. And most of them, if not all of them, were answered because I've spent almost the past 24 hours deep diving into this, speaking to property owners of people in Florida who I think she is possibly using as maybe a reference for people who want to cross-check this fire that may have happened to her mom's house. And I'm pretty sure I have all of the answers. Now, I also want to preface this entire video by saying that this video is not about attacking Audrey as a person. I'm only discussing publicly posted claims. Everything I'm talking about is based on what Audrey herself posted online. I'm comparing claims to verifiable facts, okay? If any information turns out to be incorrect, I'm open to correction. I am not telling anyone to harass or contact Audrey or her family, and I am approaching this with empathy because people make mistakes, people get overwhelmed, and sometimes stories get mixed up. So I have gone and found as much information as I possibly can, and I have been very thorough. I'm going to do my very best, and I will not be revealing anyone's personal information. I know Audrey has no problem revealing everyone's personal information. That's not who I am, and that's not what I want to do. And the people who I've spoken to have asked to keep their information private, and I respect that. I will be leaving out as much information as I possibly can while trying to show you all of the information that I found. So there's going to be lots of things blacked out, addresses, last names, this, that, and the other. I may end up using false names in order to represent certain people if I need to, but for the most part, every single person's personal information is going to be blacked out. I am not trying to dox anybody. I'm just trying to give everyone the details about what is really going on with Audrey, her mother, and the house fire. So, if you're here for that, let's just get into it. This is the first video that she posted telling people about what happened. Listen carefully.
I'm going to try to make it through this without crying even more. This is my mama. So I was just on a live and I told y'all how my mother's house caught fire and insurance is fighting the repairs. And today I was made aware that this is the conditions my mother has been living in, a shed in Florida. And y'all told me to start a GoFundMe, so I did. I didn't know what amount to start at, so I started at $200,000 like y'all suggested, because I just want to see my mom in a safe home. Others asked about my Cash App and my Venmo. I will put those on the screen, and a link to the GoFundMe will be on the link tree in my profile.
So there it is. And that's a picture of the shed. Now, let me just say something about the shed. I've known many men who've had sheds that they like to hang out in, unfortunately, and they don't usually look like that. That looks like a brand new home being built that hasn't finished yet, because I personally finished remodeling. Yeah, this old lady in California a few years ago needed help finishing the construction of her home. She had a wall knocked down and her front room extended, and so there were brand new walls put up, and it looked just like that when I got there. I had to add the drywall, paint it, and do all the mud and everything, which, good Lord, I will never do drywall ever again. But it looked just like that when I got there. So really, that looks more like a newly built home more than it does an actual shed. And why don't they just put up some drywall or finish it? I don't know, but it doesn't look like a shed to me. But don't worry, that won't matter in a few minutes when I tell you about all of the information that I figured out. So now I want you to see another video that she posted after this.
I'm sorry, guys. I feel like I'm rambling, but this is the woman that I'm doing this for. The lady who gets so happy and cheesy looking over something as small as getting a camera. And that is my why. Yesterday, whenever I found out that my mother had been living in a shed, I didn't know what to do. I knew that I could help some, but I couldn't fix everything. And so I turned to y'all. And in less than 20 hours, y'all have raised almost $1,600. And some people have asked, why is the goal so high? I was going to put it about 50,000 less than this, but I went live because I don't know what I'm doing. And people told me to set that amount. Where my mother was staying was her boyfriend's house. So it was his house that caught fire.
What?
And ideally, I would love to fix it, but I don't know the full conditions of what it is in.
Oh.
And I do plan on being there next week. My husband and I were supposed to be taking vacation next week and doing fun things next week. But instead, we will be rerouting our plans to go there to see if we can fix the house that they had to a livable status, or if she needs a whole new house. And I don't have a lot of details. I told y'all yesterday, my mom's 66 years old. She's stubborn and she does not like answering questions, which is how come she's been living in a fucking shed and not telling us kids. I will try to go live today and hopefully I'll have more answers by then. But I thank all of you for everything, even if it's not a donation, the kind words, the positive vibes, the prayers, all of it, because right now my emotions, they're crazy. So I couldn't imagine how my moms have been not telling anybody how bad this situation actually was. Right now, my emotions, they're crazy.
So she's claiming that her mom's 66 years old and she doesn't like answering questions, and that's how she didn't know anything about it. But I wanted to read some of her replies in this post. So this is 5 days ago, okay? Someone says, so sorry, Audrey, what if she stays with y'all for a bit or another family? See, and that's what I thought too. What about a manufactured home? Insurance has got to help somehow or someone due to her being a senior. Exactly. This is called common sense and people are like thinking logically. I'm looking at manufacturers too. We're in Michigan and she's in Florida. Okay? Remember that. She's in Florida. So this person's even like doing research about how she can get help and all of the things that can help her. Someone says, girl, I'm in Florida. Is there anything I can do to help? And then Audrey replies, I will know more when I get there. What does that mean? Your mom's allegedly in a shed on her boyfriend's property, and her boyfriend has property, but yet he's making her sleep in a shed. I mean, she was in Florida. She wants to help, but Audrey doesn't say anything. Oh, and then here, how long ago did this happen? Because people want some details. The fire was about 2 months ago, but I just found out the home hasn't been fixed, and they're in a shed. Okay, so now they're both in a shed, but the boyfriend has property. So the boyfriend has property with just a shed on it, and they're in that shed on the property, or there's a house on the property too, but they like staying in the shed. I mean, give me a break, okay?
I was going to just focus on this for a while, but you thought now was the time to play? You ain't seen petty yet, because I'm getting ready to do both.
Seems like a strange choice to have that attitude while you're begging your audience for $200,000, but let's go on.
That's crazy though, because you see right here, whenever I zoom in on your shit, how that bubble isn't perfect. Here, I'm going to go ahead and show you on a video since you're going to try to say that I faked it. Oh my God, look. Oh, do you see that? That's weird. You know what's also weird? How the P and the M and the time and all that is kind of blurred. You can also see a little bit of a color difference.
Me how many bedrooms and stuff my house has.
And then you have this. I want you to imagine for a second that
making
you're threats like this, and people demanding that my thing needs to be shut down. Why are y'all so pressed about me trying to help my elderly mother? Some of the weirdest behavior I have ever seen in grown adults. Now, I'm about to leave and drive the 17 hours to be there with my mother during all of this. Additionally, I do want to add for everybody that is asking, last night, whenever all of that transpired, yes, I did call the cops. And because of stuff that has been happening over months, the cops have already had a paper trail on this situation. It has been escalated to a higher department, and it is being handled. And I have given permission for them to go through anything of mine that they want to or they may need to, because these behaviors and actions are not okay. It's one thing to just talk trash. It's a whole other thing to sit here and make threats. It is also another thing to go and report somebody's account non-fucking stop. I don't get it. The only time I've ever made a report on this app is because kids were involved. Or if I was seeing somebody's meat curtains, I do be reporting that stuff. But just reporting somebody because you don't like them is wild.
So, the fact that she can't understand that people are doing that is wild, because that's what this whole entire community is about. And if you hear the way she talks about people in this community, it's gross. She is Audrey the Gross.
Audrey the Gross.
This comment to this post about the GoFundMe says, I'm in Florida. I don't have my mama, but if yours is close, I could adopt yours. I'm between Gainesville and Jacksonville. And she says she's on the other side of the state, but that is so kind of you. Which other side? The left side or the south side? Because Jacksonville is up to the right, if you're looking at Florida. So is she across to the left or down to the south? But it's one. Here we go. When did this happen? The fire was a couple of months ago. Our mom didn't tell us. So to me, that says she doesn't talk to her mom that much. I just find it suspicious that her mom wouldn't mention that she's been living in a shed on her boyfriend's property in Florida. So just to clarify, she's saying her mom lives in Florida, somewhere vaguely on the opposite side of Gainesville and Jacksonville. She doesn't clarify, but that doesn't matter anyway, and I'm going to tell you why in just a second. She says the fire was a couple months ago, but that they just found out. But let's say this post, for instance, this is the day, I'm assuming this is the day that she posted it, which was 6 days ago. Okay, 6 days. Now, I posted a comment. I said, you're so good at getting documents and files and information, Audrey. Surely you have found a news article or have pictures of the aftermath of the fire. I think it would really put the devastation into perspective and help boost your donations. Don't you think? I'm trying to help her out. I think if you showed pictures of the fire, it might help with your donations. I'm trying to help her make more money. And she says, I got here at almost 9 p.m. We are at a hotel. What do you mean a new article? I think she meant a news article. Be so for real. Not every house fire gets a news article. You too report on stuff and know that. I plan on going out to the house and absolutely seeing for myself what is going on while working on finding something better than a hotel. My number one priority is my mother tonight. Well, girl, you posted about this 6 days ago. And by all accounts, you have gotten information regarding things like, Bree's arrest within like hours of her being arrested, and posted it and gave us updates on TikTok. So I thought that her reply was kind of rude. She deleted it off of the GoFundMe, but she left it on the picture of her mom. And it's like, why wouldn't you want it to be on the one that's about the GoFundMe? Anyway, because her response was, well, I've just been busy. My concern is my mother right now. Well, the whole thing's about your mother. I'm talking about your mother too. I mean, if you're so concerned about your mom, wouldn't you want to do something to make more money? And I think by showing proof and showing pictures of the aftermath and maybe like sending us a link to the report and giving us any more details that you could possibly find out within these 6 days, which is a very long time, she's saying, no, I'm too busy. I'm worried about, I'm focusing on my mom right now. Well, I mean, you're too busy right now because you were just driving down to see your mom. But for the past 6 days, you've been spending time doing things like this.
Gypsy Rose posted this on her stories and then quickly followed it up with this. You know, her podcast that's supposed to be for victims. So why is this interesting?
But girl,
because she did this right after I
conversations about me.
But we will never be the same. Because you will never be known as anything other than the girl who took her mother's life.
So I also wanted to show you this because her mother was her main focus right now. I find that very interesting because amongst a lot of her content that I went through, I didn't see anything about her mom. Not one video, post, nothing. She never mentions her mom. No, I'm not saying everyone has to mention their mom when they're talking, but she makes a lot of content about a case, about a mother and daughter. You'd just think something about her mom would pop up every once in a while. But no, she's never ever mentioned her mother until this GoFundMe thing. But a month ago was Mother's Day, and she posted this on her YouTube. Today is Mother's Day, and while I'm incredibly grateful to be celebrated, the truth is, my kids are who I celebrate most. They gave my life purpose, meaning, laughter, strength, and a kind of love that changes you forever. They are my reason on the hard days, my motivation on the exhausting days, and my greatest joy every single day in between. Watching them grow has been the greatest privilege of my life. Motherhood isn't always easy, but it is the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced. My children make me who I am, and I will forever be thankful for them. To all the moms, stepmoms, grandmas, bonus moms, grieving mothers, single moms, and every woman who loves with a mother's heart, happy Mother's Day. I hope today reminds you just how loved and appreciated you truly are. She doesn't even wish her own mother happy Mother's Day in a 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraph post. She only talks about herself and then wishes every mom in the whole freaking world or anything who's kind of like a mom, dog moms, hot moms, everyone else, a happy Mother's Day, but not her mom. Doesn't even mention her. Weird, right? Only because she made it so blatantly clear that she had no time to get a report or show a picture of the aftermath or know any details about it because she was so concerned about her mom. And, making 3 or 4 videos about Gypsy Rose and going on Keisha's live, she had no time to get a report. So that's weird. And then this video shows some things that she's also been doing.
Gypsy and crew are working hard. You see, Sheena posted this text thread because they want me to believe that this photo of Gypsy standing in front of a burning house that she made her story less than 72 hours after I told the internet about my mother's house catching on fire is old because it's from Thursday at 5:52 p.m. But you want me to believe this is real and that Gypsy wasn't caught in 4K making fun of an elderly woman and her veteran boyfriend losing their home. This is who y'all are at heart. Or should I say, at your chest, because you're heartless. Oh, and I wanted to show you something. Whenever you Photoshop, you see how this arm's a little bit thinner, but this one looks really fat? It's because you wanted to curve her waist in. Get better at your Photoshop skills, because this and this are giving minimum wage employee at best.
Wow, 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 wow. She also took the time to post this.
Or did she get it from the TikTok shop and she had to advertise it because she didn't pay for it? Just like it took her putting a little bit of this in her hair to realize she needed to take the hairband out. Anyways, people should let Style Korean US know what she's known for.
Oh.
Audrey the Gross.
Instead of getting her mom's records about the fire. Didn't seem like she's actually concerned about her mother at all by making this. Okay, so there was that one. There was that last video about Gypsy.
Oh my God.
And then here's another
Gypsy
one.
Rose?
3 days ago. Okay, remember, she posted the GoFundMe about her mom 6 days ago or about a week ago.
Did a partnership video, a paid partnership, according to her. And people quickly
She is now
talked to the
TikTok's
company and was
elite
like, do you
employee.
know
I
about
have to
this
say,
girl?
she's
She's
deserving
deserving
of
of
losing
losing.
situation.
And I'm
They
not going to
issued a
say that
statement. What
she
did
does
they
not
say?
deserve these kind of consequences. Because not only did she orchestrate taking her mother's life, but just hours after I announced an elderly person, my mother, and her veteran boyfriend's house caught fire, Gypsy thought it would be an appropriate time to drop this on her stories. Karma is doing its thing. And I mean, honestly, I'm not surprised. Gypsy didn't even give a fuck about her mother. Why would she care about anyone else's? I know
let's
about
talk about her being
because
messy
it happened in my
in
lives. What do y'all think about this? Because I cannot fathom having to make 100 different burner accounts just to say, like, hi, Gypsy's right. Girl, you're talking about yourself, the fuck? It's weird.
No, it's weird that your mom's house caught on fire 2 months ago and you didn't know anything about it. And it's weird that she's living in a shed on her own boyfriend's property, who you apparently now I'm just hearing is a veteran. So that's adding more tragedy and more sympathy and more people to be like, oh, he's a veteran too? Girl, you are blowing it. But let's just get into the nitty gritty of it all, okay? This is the actual GoFundMe, and it says, my name is Audrey, and I am creating this fundraiser for my mother, who is 66 years old and recently retired. What should have been a time for her to finally relax and enjoy retirement quickly turned into a series of devastating hardships. In a very short period of time, my grandmother was involved in a serious car accident. My mother suffered a fractured femur, and then tragedy struck again when the home she was living in caught fire. I'm still trying to learn all of the details surrounding the fire, but my understanding is that an RV parked near the home caught fire and the flames spread to the house. I've also been told that insurance is currently disputing the claim, leaving my mother in a very difficult situation. What breaks my heart the most is that she didn't tell any of her children how bad things had become. Whether she was trying to protect us from worrying or simply trying to handle everything on her own, we recently learned that she has been living in a shed on her boyfriend's property in Florida. As her daughter, I want to help her as much as I can, but there is only so much I am able to do on my own. That is why I'm reaching out and asking for help. My goal is to raise enough money to help my mother secure safe, stable housing. Ideally, I would love to be able to purchase a small home for her outright, as living solely on Social Security makes monthly housing payments difficult to manage. If we are unable to raise enough to purchase a home, every dollar donated will go toward helping her obtain suitable housing and assisting with repairs and improvements to her current living situation. Now, forensically, this is full of red flags. And let me tell you why. The name of this GoFundMe is From Fire to Hope. Help my mom rebuild. Rebuild what? She doesn't say rebuild the house. No. Nor does she mention any details. She doesn't show. Now, originally, this GoFundMe only had this picture, period. That's it. And then GoFundMe does this little thing right here. But since then, since yesterday, and we'll get into this, she's added this picture. Not of the house on fire, not of any damage, not of any aftermath, nothing. Just a picture of allegedly the shed that her mother has been living in with her mother's boyfriend in Florida. Keep that in mind. Remember, she's only mentioned that there was a fire and that she's just recently found out that her mother's been living in a shed in Florida with her boyfriend. She doesn't say when the fire happened, how bad the damage was, how long her mom's been in Florida. It almost sounds Like, she barely even talks to her mom. And remember that. Keep that in mind. That's very important, okay? So for somebody who we all know as somebody who's very adamant about getting lots and lots of details and obtaining records and contacting authority and doing whatever she can to get as many details as she possibly can about anything that she wants to report on, it's very odd that Audrey has no information regarding the fire. She actually barely mentions it. For someone who's labeling the GoFundMe From Fire to Hope, Help My Mom Rebuild, she only sprinkles in one tiny sentence about there being a fire in between all the other riggedy ram. She starts out the GoFundMe that's called From Fire to Hope, talking about how old her mom is and how she should be enjoying retirement, how her grandmother was involved in a serious car accident, and how her mom suffered from a fractured femur. Okay, well, what is that doing? You know, she's trying to just get as much sympathy as she possibly can by developing this tragedy story, okay? Then she barely sprinkles in, I'm still trying to learn all of the details surrounding the fire. Well, Audrey has no problem trying to learn the details about anything. We know she's very capable of getting details about whatever she wants.
A lot of us have been wondering, where is Bree? Thursday, April 2nd, she had criminal court for a speeding ticket and no driver's license. But where was Bree? Not at court. Because according to this, it says defendant was absent and Larry Asola, ADA, present for the state on motion of the state. Court ordered bench warrant issued and set bond at $400 cash only. Now, I do want to congratulate you for this one because you did eventually go and you did plead guilty, and this was for no seatbelt. And since you can't seem to remember when you do and don't have court, I'm here to help you out and remind you that tomorrow, April 8th at 9 a.m., you have court, criminal court, for your rug charge. I want to show you something. While this medicine is spelt wrong, first dose of trioxan today, I think that's how she spelled it, but that's not what it's called. So let's go and look at this other thing we've been working on, me and somebody else. Let's click this again so you can hone in on this date. 8/26/2014, right? This is Gypsy supposedly starting chemo in 2014. Let me grab a pen. We're just going to write this down. August 28th. So we've been working on this little timeline. Tax documents, Department of the Treasury. Like, we're digging into some shit, okay? But we have almost a day by day going on to know what Gypsy was doing. Here is her payment history on that house. Every single payment she ever made. She had a mortgage. I do still have every payment. Homeowner's payment history. Homeowner's payment history. Her mortgage started off at, well, she was paying $300 a month by check. Then her mortgage went to $411.61. Then it went in 2010 to $363.05. Then in 2011, it went to $386. Then in 2012, it went, it stayed at it didn't. Sorry, it went up. $397. And then in 2014, her home payment was $420. And at the time of death, it was $411 a month. So her mother was paying a mortgage. I have everything for it. The promissory note. There was 2 loans, like people say, but both were Habitat for Humanity. And the only thing that they had that's different from an average loan is the interest rate. Because it was a Habitat for Humanity, there was not the same interest that we would pay on a normal one.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So for her to still be trying to learn all of the details surrounding the fire, leaving my mother in a very difficult situation. What's the situation? How bad is the fire? I want to see a report. I want to see just because I'm nosy. And I mean, shit, you're asking for $200,000. Well, she claims that her audience told her, make it for $200,000 because she wanted to make it for $140,000 for some reason. And remember that number. It's a very specific number, $140,000, which is what she said she wanted to originally make the GoFundMe for. But her audience said, no, make it $200,000. But she says, what breaks my heart the most is that she didn't tell any of her children how bad things had become. Now, Audrey lives in Michigan, I believe. Now, where does Audrey's mom live? I mean, apparently she lives in Florida, right? The house burned down. Now she and the mother's boyfriend, apparently the alleged boyfriend, must live in Florida because they've been staying in a shed on her boyfriend's property. So we recently learned that she has been living in a shed on her boyfriend's property in Florida. Well, why would she have to live in the shed? If her boyfriend has property in Florida, which I'm assuming that's where the fire was, right? Because she never says where her mom lives. Why would her boyfriend make her live in the shed if he has his own property? Or maybe he just owns property and he doesn't actually have a house built on there. It's just a property with a shed. And maybe he lived with her and then the house burned down. And so now they both live in the shed, but it didn't say that her and the boyfriend live on the property in the shed on the property. No, it says that Audrey's mom lives in a shed on her boyfriend's property in Florida. Well, that's awfully mean of the boyfriend to make his girlfriend sleep in the shed. I don't think she really thought about this very much as she was posting it. Not only that, all of the language that she uses regarding how she speaks about how she learned about the whatever she's vaguely knows anything about, the nothing that she knows that she's claiming is so vague and so distant from her mother. It almost seems, according to this GoFundMe, it sounds like she barely even talks to her mom. And keep that in mind because that's going to be important later. As her daughter, I want to help her as much as I can, but there's only so much I'm able to do on my own. Now, that being said, Audrey flaunts her money all the time.
Because me and my husband are putting in on this too. But at the end of the day, while I have decent money, we make decent money, I cannot afford to replace everything. Even if I get her this house that I had found online that's like $140,000 in her area, then she still is going to need couches. She is still going to need fucking toilet paper to wipe her ass, which thankfully she does have. She's gonna need other things, not just roofing.
And saying that her mom's only on Social Security and yada yada. But Social Security alone would be at least a couple $1,000s a month, and that should be plenty for someone to live a moderate lifestyle. I mean, she could also go and live in like apartment complexes or condominium complexes that are just for people 55 and older, and it's discounted rates, and those are usually very nice manicured communities that are very safe and only have retired people in it. So they're usually very, very nice little quiet neighborhoods, and their rent is less expensive, and there's plenty of options. I mean, my first thought was, well, why can't she stay with you? If her house burned down and she's living in a shed and you're so very concerned, why can't she come stay with you? Audrey has a 4-bedroom home. Why can't she stay with her? At least just until she gets on her feet or they can figure something out. But if Audrey's got 20 grand to blow, I just don't understand what this GoFundMe is for. And Sir Morbid also raises the same concerns in his video. What is this for? Why are you asking your community for money when you've got 20 grand to blow? It just doesn't make any sense. So then it says, as her daughter, I want to help her as much as I can, but there's only so much I'm able to do on my own. That is why I'm reaching out and asking for help. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely zero wrong with anyone reaching out and asking for help. My goal is to raise enough money to help my mother secure safe, stable housing. Doesn't talk about the fire. Doesn't talk about rebuilding or repairing or anything. She blatantly comes out and says, I want to raise enough money to be able to help my mom secure safe, stable housing. She's basically saying, I'm trying to make money to buy my mom a house. And she says it again here. Ideally, I would love to be able to purchase a small home for her outright. Well, who gives a shit about the house that burned down? She just wants enough money to buy her mom a house. I mean, girl. And hey, if that's how it is, why bother with the rest of the bullshit? Why bother saying that there was a fire? Why bother saying she was injured and her grandmother? Why does she even mention her grandmother being in a car accident? What the fuck does that have to do with her house burning down? Allegedly. Nothing. But why even mention any of it when you just are coming out and saying, I'm asking for help. I want to raise enough money to buy my mom a house. I bet you more people would donate money if you had just said that. I mean, shit, people like Carmelo Anthony and all kinds of other criminals have hundreds of thousands of dollars raised for no reason at all, except for someone says, oh, I'm black and you're white. Okay, well, I'm going to donate money just because I'm black and you're black and, you know what I mean? Or you're white and I'm white and we're going to donate money. I mean, people would donate lots and lots of money for ridiculous things. So I'm sure anyone would be like, oh, you want to help build your mama house? Sure, I'll pitch in. But instead, you want to go out with all these devastating, traumatizing, tragic things about your mom and why that's causing her to not have a safe and relaxing retirement. I mean, duh, Audrey. We all want to have a safe and relaxing retirement.
Obviously.
With a home that was built by the money of people who we don't even know online. Of course. Who wouldn't take free money to build themselves a new house?
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, come on. I would love to be able to purchase a small home for her outright, as living solely on Social Security makes monthly housing payments difficult to manage. Yeah, duh.
It's pretty obvious, so.
It's called a fixed income. And every person who didn't successfully create a cushion for themselves to retire on struggle with maintaining a decent lifestyle with their fixed income. Yes, that's why it's important to be successful, save money for retirement, and then have money to fall back on once you're done working. But a lot of people who are well past the age of 66 are still working because a fixed income makes housing payments difficult to manage and everything else in life. Girl, everyone is struggling. All of these little tragedy details that you're throwing in here, they're not uncommon. This is not an uncommon situation. But she's like, I want to purchase my mom a small home. Well, how the hell is your mom going to make a mortgage payment and pay for HOA and all the other crap, food and everything else that goes along with it if she can't even afford to make monthly housing payments with her Social Security? So that alone is another red flag. How are you're going to buy her a house outright with 14 grand? No. 14 grand wouldn't even probably be enough to put down on a house. And if it was, those payments are going to be awfully large. And if she's already struggling, she's not going to be able to pay the mortgage and buy food and pay for the HOA and the taxes and the homeowner's insurance, which I'm sure she's going to have. Are you going to get a loan? I mean, what are the details here? This is very confusing and it doesn't seem right. It seems wrong. It seems all jacked up. If we are unable to raise enough to purchase a home, every dollar donated, listen, will go toward helping her obtain suitable housing and assisting with repairs and improvements to her current living situation. Again, she never says to repair the damage on the house. Why even bring up a freaking fire if you're not even going to mention repairing it? All of this is extremely concerning. If you are able to donate, no matter the amount, our family would be incredibly grateful. If you cannot donate, sharing this fundraiser would mean just as much. Thank you for taking the time to read my mother's story and for any support you can provide during this difficult chapter of her life. It would have been much smarter if she could say, here's a link so you can read all about the fire and see the images of the fire. I mean, girl, put a fake picture of a house burning down. You grift and do online content for a living. You should know better than this. Thank you for taking the time to read my mother's story. This is not your mother's story. This is you talking about random bullshit, sprinkling in a fire, and talking about how being an old person living on a fixed income is hard and how you want to build your mom a home. Well, girl, yeah, we all have dreams. We all have dreams, okay? And they include getting $200,000 from random strangers for free and then buying ourselves a house or putting our mother in a better house.
Obviously.
Okay, everybody, I've made it to my mother's, and this was her lovely kitchen. This was the lovely porch looking out of the kitchen. As you can see, very nice. 10 out of 10. Here are some holes. The fire department was giving her a beautiful skylight to make sure that, you know, it wasn't up in the attic too. And here's where they were trying to make sure, you know, that it wasn't electrical, even though it came from the camper next door. They still had to do their little investigation. Here is the other side of the kitchen wall. I'm making sure y'all can see this real good. Here's where they broke a window, you know, on the other side. Here is the shed that they have been staying in. There is the electrical box.
Here's where they've started to pull some stuff out before it just got too hot and they went to this situation. And for everybody asking, here is Mom.
Big Mom.
It's okay to be overweight, Mom. I am too. Now that I have shown y'all a lot of that, I do want to show y'all what is going on. As you can see above my head here, I am banned from going live. But the people that are mad that I was able to get a little bit of help did not just stop there. They have also got my ability to respond to comments suspended. I have been working on a lot of these appeals and I have won some of them. Okay, I'm in the car. I'm going to enjoy the AC for a few minutes because it is hot. But, Mom, I want to tell you something. I told the whole internet your business. And because of that, people have helped. And from GoFundMe, I was able to raise almost $5,000. And then from I can't say the name on here, I'll get in trouble, and they're already trying to get me in trouble. Another app, I have raised about $1,200 additional.
You didn't have to do that.
I'm not done. And then from another one, I raised about $800. And then on another one, I've raised about $300. So you can do the math. I don't know where we're at. But we're going to figure out the situation while I'm here. And I love you.
I love you too, but you didn't have to do that.
Love you, Mom. Okay, now I'm gonna do what I have to do. I can't respond to comments. I can't really do anything because they're doing everything they can to make me lose my account because they're trying to say that I'm going to ghost y'all in this situation. But I'm here and I'm gonna figure it out with what we have raised so far. Here is the shed that they have been staying in. Wow.
She's barely showing any of it. She's only showing tiny portions. She's not stepping back and showing the whole home or the aftermath of the entire devastation. So there's the shed, but I thought the shed was at her boyfriend's property. Now I'm confused. I thought her mom was living in a shed on her boyfriend's property.
Everybody asking, here is Mom.
Big Mom.
It's okay to be overweight, Mom. I am too. Now that I have shown y'all a lot of that, I do want to show y'all what is going on. As you can see above my head.
Now, before she gets into this, I also want to note that there was no RV anywhere in the close proximity. They don't show an RV that had been completely caught on fire so hard that it made her mom's house catch on fire. None of that. Just little tiny snippets of the house, then a shed in her own backyard, not in her boyfriend's, and they don't mention the boyfriend. But listen to what Audrey says right here.
My head here, I am banned from going live. But the people that are mad that I was able to get a little bit of help did not just stop there. They have also got my ability to respond to comments suspended. I have been working on a lot of these appeals and I have won some of them. Okay, I'm in the car. I'm going to enjoy the AC for a few minutes because it is hot. But, Mom, I want to tell you something. I told the whole internet your business. And because of that, people have helped. And from GoFundMe, I was able to raise almost $5,000. And then from I can't say the name on here, I'll get in trouble, and they're already trying to get me in trouble. Another app, I have raised about $1,200 additional.
You didn't have to do that.
I'm not done. And then from another one, I raised about $800. And then on another one, I've raised about $300. So you can do the math. I don't know where we're at.
I do. It's about $8,000.
Math. I don't know where we're at. But we're going to figure out the situation while I'm here. And I love you.
I love you too, but you didn't have to do that.
Love you, Mom. Okay, now I'm gonna do what I have to do. I can't respond to comments. I can't really do anything because they're doing everything they can to make me lose my account because they're trying to say that I'm going to ghost y'all in this situation. But I'm here and I'm gonna figure it out with what we have raised so far. I love you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't understand what she says right there. I've listened to it a million times.
I can't respond to comments. I can't really do anything because they're doing everything they can to make me lose my account because they're trying to say that I'm going to ghost y'all in this situation. Quick reminder, go forth, be good people, do good things.
Excellent advice. Excellent advice. You know, I guess all that we can do now is just wait and see what she comes out with next. And hey, maybe I'm wrong about this whole entire thing and she's going to have a very good reason why she said all of the things that she said. I don't know. But these are the facts that I could find. And again, I don't know Audrey personally, and I'm not making assumptions about her motives. I understand people can be under stress, confused, or misinformed, and this isn't about blaming. You know, a lot of people are struggling. They're in living situations that they wish they weren't in, or they wish they were in a better situation. I mean, there's so much homelessness in the world, and I'm not saying her mom doesn't deserve help. I just think it would have been better if she had been upfront about her mom, and I think that people still would have helped. Of course, I want to know what you all have to say about this, so let me know in the comments. I'm curious to know how many of you have actually donated money to Audrey, and what you think about this. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like, and I will meet you in the comments.
What about Jesse?
What about Jesse?
Stop playing around with her.
Yeah, what about Jesse, man?
I'm back at Jesse.
Everybody's got their money on Jesse.
Everybody go sub to Jess, man. Get her popping.
I know one of you has. And of course, I wasn't going to go to you and tell you this information one-on-one because if I know you well enough, I know that you'll probably say, well, you know what? I did it out of the kindness of my heart and I don't regret doing it. I assume you're that kind of a person. You did it because it's just something you would do. And even after knowing this, you probably still wouldn't regret donating the money to her. It wasn't much money. And so I didn't bother telling you directly.